Welcome to the So I'm a Fan of podcast, where people from different fandoms come together to share what they love with your love.
And sometimes hate what they hate.
I'm your host, Kaiser Brown, and today I'm joined by
The co-host, Sabrina Gill.
And what are we talking about today, Sabrina?
Oh, well, today we're going to get in our feels and, maybe test how true our friendship really is with what we have right here is actually 100 friend questions, best friend questions. Whether we get through all of them, a mystery, but, we gonna try.
Oh, Lord. Okay, are you ready to get started? Because let's get into I'm the one who picked this. Now I'm scared.
Yes, you did.
I'm scared. You got to get deep. Not really. You don't have
You're
to get
scared.
deep.
I'm scared, Kaiser. I'm scared. I don't like talking about my feelings.
Oh my gosh. Talking about your feelings is so uncomfortable, but I always do it anyway because it's healthy to do. It's healthy to do. Some people just don't talk about their feelings and they build all up and then you blow up at somebody and stuff like that. And we don't want to do that, I decided to stop blowing up at people.
Wait, so you were doing
it? Not really. But holding stuff in. I just stopped, I blew up at people before, but it don't feel good. So I would rather just tell the truth. I would rather be overly communicative than not communicative at all. You know what I mean?
Get that.
If I
agree.
gotta you, because sometimes a lot of times you have to overly communicate because we love to be pretending like just because we know people or they know us that we don't always have to say anything. Sometimes you gotta say stuff, especially in this age where we text a lot. Oh Lord.
You're not wrong.
Sorry, I had to drink some water. Okay,
Hey,
Sabrina. So this is how it's gonna go. Each of us will take turns asking a question from the list. You're gonna start with question number 1, asking me, and then I'm gonna do question number 2, so on and so forth until we decide we've had enough.
Until we're done suffering.
Yes. If somebody decides that they don't want to answer the question, you just say skip, and then we move to the next one. Simple rules. Whoever wins gets $1 million. I don't know what it takes to win, but I guess we're gonna see.
Wait, where are we getting this million from?
You ask too many questions.
Oh,
oh Lord. See, I'm trying to be open. I can't do this. But yeah, I mean, who has the money? I have the money somewhere. I don't know. I'm going to be a millionaire in the future, and so are you. So I guess we just.
Yeah, that Powerball be looking really good.
So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. I guess I'll start with question 1, Kaiser. What makes you feel unstoppable?
What makes you feel unstoppable? I don't know. Sometimes I feel stoppable, but I guess I don't know. See, I do affirmations every day. And I guess God and affirmations and therapy. God, affirmations, and therapy. See, because when I say I have affirmations that I do every morning. I do in the afternoon. I do at night. And when I say those affirmations, I continue to believe in myself and do the things that I want to do. Because there are times where I just want to give up and stuff. But when I say those affirmations, they continue to remind me of what I have ahead of me and to be thankful for where I am now. Even if what I'm in now isn't like not right now, but like in the moment isn't the best situation to be in. So that God, because without God, I don't think I'd be here. I'd be gone. I'll be like, hit me with a car. Like, somebody come get me.
Oh, wait, so you'd be like me?
Yeah, no, because like from like 7th grade, I'm just gonna be like since 7th grade, I guess I didn't even realize it, but I feel like I was depressed from like 7th grade till I was like 20, 24. I'm already 24, but like lately I'm like going to therapy and like doing affirmations and all that stuff. It was weird. I was like, oh my gosh, I never realized that I was so unhappy. I realized when I was unhappy when I started talking to somebody I liked, and then I was like, what is this feeling? I shouldn't be feeling this good. And then I realized, oh, maybe I was just unhappy and depressed for so long. And so I decided to find my own happiness from that. You know what I mean? Because you can't find your own happiness in other people, because that'll make things worse. So that's what makes me feel unstoppable. My affirmations and God, and just doing that stuff. I just gotta speak for myself. I gotta speak.
That's brave. I love it.
Brave. And communicating. I'm doing that more. way more. So, how do you see me?
How do I see you?
Yeah, how do you see me?
Um, sorry, I'm trying to find words I can say on air.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I've known you for a good bit, Kaiser. And in my years of us knowing each other, without getting, I guess, too sappy, um, you're someone
Yes,
that I very much respect. Like, obviously, no person truly has their life completely together, but you're one of the very few people I know who I can honestly say are very aware of not only like how you feel and your actions, but you're very honest in those regards. And you're also a very genuine person in how you treat other people and how you're willing to be openly caring for other people regardless of circumstance, which means a lot because I've had situations that ironically you've also been present for in my life where people would rather talk bad about you or listen to the words of other people and create predetermined beliefs about you, or like, well, I guess about me is more the regard. And you're very much a person who would rather make your own opinion and show like um what's the word, kindness and care, versus like choosing to see the worst in somebody and allowing that to just be who they are. So
oh,
thank you for being a genuine person and a very positive presence in my life. Also, in the talk of affirmations in the prior one, Kaiser actually sends me affirmations every morning so I don't kill myself.
oh,
So that means a lot, Kaiser. You're a person who cares for my existence, and it means a lot.
well, thank you. You know.
Getting in my feels. The first question I gotta answer. But yeah,
Oh wow, this is so sweet. I really appreciate that. I'm not the I, I try to be honest with myself in a lot of things and with people. And I'm not perfect, I made mistakes too, but I like to learn from my mistakes and always try to do better and try to treat people right. Um, cuz I recognize that how I treat myself is how I'm going to treat other people. And I had to learn, because I always see the good in people, but I used to never see the good in myself sometimes, and so I've been really just like working hard to, see the good in myself and do those things. So I can't be one of those people be like, oh, you need to see the good in yourself, but at the same time, I'm saying a whole bunch of horrible things about myself. You know what I mean? And so I want
yeah.
everybody to feel like they are, worthy and valuable. You know what I mean? And so I'm glad I have a friend like you. You know what I mean? I learn
Oh,
a lot.
thanks, Kaiser.
Um, what emotion do you
Wait,
experience most frequently?
dude, Kaiser, it's my turn.
Is your
It's my
turn?
turn to read.
Did I
It's my
ask?
turn to read to you.
How do you see? Oh crap! Go
Yeah.
ahead.
What
Sorry.
what emotion do you experience most frequently?
I don't know. E- I I would say I guess if I'm being honest, joy, kinda joy, because I've learned to help myself feel joy. So I need to tell people the difference between like joy and happiness. I feel like happiness is like happiness is very from a moment to moment thing. It's temporary. Some when you're happy, it can go away, and all of a sudden you can become sad, you can become mad. You can experience a whole bunch of negative and or positive emotions. But I feel like when you are joyful, you're choosing to be happy. You're choosing to like experience, like positive emotions and things like that. And so I always set out to be joyful. And when I wake up in the morning, that's why I say my affirmations, you know what I mean? So I can remind myself to be joyful. Because there are times where you don't want to be joyful, but you choose to be joyful anyway. You know what I mean? You choose to stand up for yourself when nobody else gonna stand up for you. You know what I mean? When you're the only one in the room and you're just alone by yourself, you know what I mean? You gotta be the one that, to just really just pump yourself up. because there are a lot of times where I don't like it sometimes, where but I'm alone a lot. You know what I mean? And I used to beat myself up about that, feeling unworthy and stuff. And I'm like, why? Like, because I used to think I was alone a lot because nobody liked me, you know, not because I did choose it, but I felt like I wasn't worthy of like anything. So I really just choose to feel joy every day, even when moments are upsetting, even when people make me mad, even if I make myself mad or whatever. I think that's the emotion I experience the most, if that even is an emotion. I guess joy. I don't know.
No, I love
Uh,
it.
yeah. If you could do anything for the rest of your life in the entire world today, what would that be?
Um, are we looking for something funny, or are we like get serious? Because
What,
I could
I don't
just
know.
be
What do you
living in
mean?
somebody's basement making art and live for the rest of my life on somebody else's money,
It's someone's
and I'd love
basement.
to do that for the rest of my life.
Why
Yeah,
not your
no,
own
okay.
basement?
I well, because okay, so I always joked, like I joked. I was always adamant growing up that like, I was gonna be an independent woman. I didn't need anybody. I was gonna carry myself, do what I gotta do.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
But
Say
now I'm
something.
just like, I just want to be somebody's sugar baby, live in their basement making art, not having any responsibility, or paying bills, and that's all I gotta worry about. Like whenever I need stuff, I'm just like, hey yo, I need this. Can I go? And that's it. Um, but if I could do anything for the rest of my life in the entire world today, um, I guess like without consequence, I think like it would probably still just be making art. Like I like just recently like as an I just I describe myself as an artist. I love making art. Like I went to college for art. And even my career that I'm currently in is in relation to art, though it is in a more practical sense. But I feel like recently I've done a lot less art for myself. I feel like I've just been
Mhm.
um like every now and then I'll get this like burst of inspiration or like productivity and I'll do it, but I think like if I the reason I say do art right now is because it would make it a more consistent practice, something that I can enjoy rather than feeling like in this manic one moment I'm doing it. But make it something more natural that is like a healthy part of my day-to-day life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm trying to do that now and instill that as one of my New Year's goals. But if a little magic of whatever this quiz guy is gonna make that change, we'll see.
Right. Right. Right.
um, okay, so I guess for you, um, do you think you are brave?
I don't know. I feel like I can be brave unintentionally. Like I don't try to be, but sometimes I end up in situations where not where I necessarily have to be brave, I guess so, but like where I just end up doing it anyway, I guess. We talking about a whole bunch of emotions and stuff. I'm brave for even coming up with this. I was like, what? Why not? You know what I mean? I'd be brave talking about my emotions and stuff like that. A lot of guys, especially black guys, don't do that because we're kind of trained not to do that for a variety of reasons, you know what I mean? And that's a societal epidemic. And I guess in aspects like that, I'm very brave. In other aspects, I'm not so sure. I don't know. Am I brave? I don't know. I'm getting up every morning and I'm doing something and I'm doing things that, like this podcast and stuff that isn't it's always fun to do, but it's also a lot of work, and especially putting yourself out there a lot too. So I guess that requires some bravery. I guess I'm brave. I'm like I want to positively say yes, I'm brave. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know what other people will say about me either. If I ask the question, do you think I'm brave, Sabrina? That's the question. Do
I
you?
think you're brave.
You think I'm brave?
Maybe again, similarly to the reasons you've said of like your willingness to be vulnerable and um how your openness, I guess, in like presenting yourself on the internet like you do. And being genuine as you do so, like a lot of what makes your podcast charming is obviously like your willingness to like be like cringy or like to like us to be goofy and have fun, and not to like edit it out to keep like this like kind of image of self. Um, but I also think you're brave in the sense of other ways too, of like the episode we recorded last where you were talking about how you don't fall for peer pressure and like your willingness to stand up in
Oh,
those kind of circumstances where others may not have the courage to. Um, so I personally think you are a brave person.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, is it my turn? Or-
Yes.
Okay. What makes you feel super loved? What makes you feel super loved?
Um, so it's probably like this is gonna sound messed up because we had this whole conversation about how you gonna love somebody else if you can't love yourself, kind of.
Mhm.
But I think like as messed as it sounds, other people make me feel loved. And most of the time, it's not like them being like, "Oh, well, I love you," and like having that openness of affection. But it's almost like a thoughtfulness,
Mhm.
it sounds like the bare minimum, but when people consider my existence,
Mm.
like just small things of like when I go and I get like a message from like Hannah, and she was like, "Girl, I saw this thing and I thought of you," and it's like it could be like the rudest thing ever, like of some kind of meme or like my sister and we always pick on each other, like we're real mean, and I always tell her she has a 5 head, and
Fine.
she always tells me is like, well, at least like I don't got back problems. Like, so she'll send me like memes of people with like messed up backs, like scoliosis, or like carrying the weight of my workplace on my back, and like memes. And I'll send her like 5 head memes and like just
No.
little things like that. Like people
Yeah.
can like acknowledging that I'm alive and existing makes me feel so loved. Like just people willing like in their day of like so much going on, like for them to be like, oh, I'm thinking of Sabrina right now, let me go bother her, like let
Mhm.
me just be like, oh, hey Sabrina, how are you today, like with your affirmations, it like reminds me that I'm existing and I'm like remembered in a world that can be so overwhelming, and I feel so loved when that happens, you know.
That's good. Same, but it's the same for me too. When people just like reach out to me, you know what I mean? And they just like check on me, and they say, "What you doing?" And even if I'm not doing anything, it's always nice, for somebody to just be like, "What you doing?" Or how do you feel? Like really, how do you feel? When people do things like that, that makes me feel loved. I mean, because we talking about loving yourself and stuff, but like it's okay to feel loved by other people too. You know what I mean? It's different, having love and I don't want to say having love and feeling love are two different things, but I think those are two kind of things that coincide with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you truly love yourself, you're gonna allow others to love you too. I think I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, my question for you now. Do you think people fall in love because the right person has arrived or because the timing is right, regardless of whom the person is that they fall in love with?
That question's kind of confusing because, like, can it be both at once? I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends on what people think is love, I guess, because I think a lot of people consider love to be like those fuzzy, frilly little emotions that you feel like the first 6 months to like 2 years of relationship, where you're all goggly eyed and your hormones are all out of whack, right? So that people usually consider love to be that emotion. And I feel like that's when people sometimes when that fades away, you start to see who the actual person is, right? And so like what happens is after those hormones are gone, you're looking at this person, you're like, ugh, like when people say, I don't love you anymore. You know what I mean? I just don't love you
Mhm.
anymore. A lot of times it's just not people saying they don't love anybody anymore. They just those emotions, those like emotions, frilly little emotions go away and your body settles with all the chemical imbalances that have been going on when you're around that person. And then once you see the true real person, you kind of disgusted and he's like, you don't do this anymore. You don't do anymore. It's not like they don't do anything anymore. It's just that, you've gotten used to the person. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to compare it to like having a new toy, but it's kind of like having a new toy. And once you have a new toy, you know, and you play for it a little bit after Christmas, eventually that toy like goes to the side and you look at it and it's not as shiny as new as your old toys, but that doesn't mean that the love still isn't there. Love, people consider love to be an emotion when love is not an emotion. I think love is a choice. You have to consciously put effort in love. And so when they say if people fall in love because the right person has arrived or the timing's right, I think is a bit of both, right? But in order to be loved, you have to give love too, I think. So I don't know really how to answer that question besides saying like it's both, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? Is it, do you think people fall in love because the right person has arrived or because the timing is right? I don't know. That question kind of confuses me. I just think that you got to choose to love people. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? You got to love them when they're at their best, and you got to love them when they're at their worst. And if you really want to be with a person, you got to choose to be with the person because those. Not to say that those butterflies don't come back every now and then because they do, but by the time the chemical imbalances end, you looking at a person who is human just like you is what I'm trying to say. So it's a
Yeah.
choice, I think. You know, because people are annoying. People are always gonna annoy you. I heard somebody say this once. It's not the problem with you loving the person. Sometimes it's the problem with you continuing to like the person, and you have to continue to choose to like the person that you with, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. Because by the time you move in with each other, you're like, oh, we married, blah, 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 blah. Or if you just move in with them, oh, we together. And then all of a sudden you see they have their socks all over the floor and you're like, pick up your socks. I can't stand you. You know, you know,
Yeah.
it's you choosing to love them and choosing to like communicate and just like put forth the effort. So if that makes sense, I don't know.
No, I agree. That question was definitely worded weird because I don't feel like
Mhm,
it's like there's always that saying like right person, right time, or right person,
mhm,
wrong time, right person.
mhm.
But I don't feel like that necessarily plays into
Yeah.
the full extent of what is a relationship or what you when you find love, if you
Yeah.
will.
I think it does happen because you do meet the right person at the right time or wrong time, depending. But like it's what happens after the fact that,
Yeah.
it really matters, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay, so what do you want people to feel when they're around you?
Probably comfortable, you know? Like I'm not asking for like some like a like majestic feeling or a bout of emotion that is gonna like make this dramatic scene or make you feel this like obnoxious extravagant way. I just want the people around me to be comfortable, like to feel at ease around me, like if anything, like again, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I don't need to be liked, I'm not looking for them
Yeah.
to fall in love with me right at the moment they step next to me. But
Mhm.
if they could just be in my presence and be comfortable and feel at ease and feel like it's like a break from like maybe whatever stress or facade they feel like they have to put on to be around people, I think I'd be satiated with that kind of feeling, And for some people, I'm told I give that feeling, which I always feel like so proud. I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. But obviously not everybody, which I totally understand. It's all about
Yeah.
whatever relationship you have with those people. But
Mhm.
if I, like I said, if it was like this random, like a stranger stood next to me on a train, or we're waiting at a bus stop, and there was one thing they could feel when they stood right next to me, it would be comfortable.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So what is one dream you've never said out loud?
That I've never said out loud.
Mhm.
I don't know. I gotta think about that. I kind of want to be chased. Hmm. Does that make sense? I want somebody to chase after me. Not, like I want somebody to like be like, "Oh my gosh, I like him. Like, let me go to him." Cuz a lot of times, and I'm an introvert, y'all. I'm an INFJ, okay? If you know Myers-Briggs. I taken that quiz so many, well, not that many times. I taken enough to where I can forget the answers, and then when I go back, I'm still an INFJ. But like I would like somebody to like chase after me. I'm not the type of person that like chases people. I want somebody to chase after me. Be like, hey, don't be crazy. But like maybe embarrass yourself a little bit or something. Like come after me and like trip. I'm like, oh no, are you okay?
Need some
if that's a
protagonists.
if that's a dream, I kind of want somebody to chase after me. But besides that, a dream that I don't also say out loud is I want to make people happy. I guess that's my real dream, and whatever I do, and making people happy. I want to add to people's happiness, if that makes more sense. You know what I mean? I want them to be able to look at the stuff I do and feel happiness and inspire them to want to do things and follow their dreams. You know what I mean? That's really what I want. I just love when people are happy and joyful, which is why I care about people so much. Which is also why I don't really hold grudges against anybody or anything. Like I said last episode, how one person uh and I are on the outs, and I messaged them, whatever. I messaged them a bit too much, but they cussed me out and said all that stuff. It's funny because how you say you don't like want to be liked or whatever, and they asked me a question, why you want to be liked so much? And I guess they asked me that because I'm so like super, super like nice or whatever. And it's just like I don't know. I just love people. I just want people to be happy. It's just that's just my thing. The world is just filled with such darkness and stuff, but it's also filled with a lot of happiness and joy that we just don't see. We always just see the dark stuff. And it's like the world is so much bigger and broader than just the darkness. And I feel like it's my job and my calling to just make people happy in whatever I do. That's my dream. So to be chased and to be happy, just a little bit. You know what I mean? Just chase me a little bit. I'll tell you if you get on my nerves. But then if you get on my nerves, I'll be like, oh, you get on my nerves. I want that person that gets on my nerves, but still willing to stay. You know, you know what I mean? Like me. I get on my nerves sometimes, but I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. So you better love me. Okay. What habits do you lie about or admit most often? Oh.
That's funny. So my biggest bad habit is that I consume like uh I say graphic literature as in like graphic novels, like manga, um comics at a very alarming and obsessive rate. um and when I say that, I mean like so like my wind down time, if you will, at night, like cuz I work my 9 to 5. I get home, I cook dinner, I wash dishes from like my lunch and dinner. And I kind of have the schedule, and I'll get in bed, and like my unwind time is that I read, and or I'll play Genshin, do my dailies, whatever I got to do with Hannah, and then read. But the bad habit is when I pick up a story that's like long, and I'll be like, oh, I'll just read like a few chapters, and then I'll go to bed at like a reasonable hour. And then a
But you
couple
don't.
chapters turns into one more chapter, and then one more chapter turns into I started this 106 chapter story at 9:10 p.m. and it's 4 a.m. on a work night when I have to be up at 7, and I'm still trying to bargain with myself of how many more chapters I'm allowed to read before I can go to sleep. And then I get up
Mhm.
to work the next day and they're like, "Man, Sabrina, you look a little tired. Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, just a little bit of rough night sleeping. What's the insomnia? It's not the insomnia. It's 106 chapters that I ended up completely reading up until the time I had to be up for work."
Oh
And it's
Lord.
easy to say just stop. Just stop. Like when there's no way that 106 chapters is like all going, going, going. There has to be a resting point where you can be like, I can wait for the story to continue tomorrow. But I don't know if it's like the completionist in my brain or what, but no, it I always tell myself I can't start a long story before bed because I will finish
Mhm,
it. It don't matter.
mhm.
It will be finished. Um,
Man, man.
anyway,
I
um, No, I know, okay? Okay, it's unhealthy, it's a bad habit. I can't help it. Um, so anyway, if you had to change your name, what would you change it to and why?
I read this question ahead of time because I'm like, I wouldn't want to change my name, but they said if you had to, because my name's already so unique. Not a lot of people have my name. It's usually a title, but
I was gonna say, doesn't your name mean king or leader?
yeah, king, emperor, leader. My name is literally in a lot of different languages, said in a lot of different ways, so I can go to different places and just say have like a Japanese version of my name or a Spanish version of my name. So I'm always Kaiser. But if I had to change my name, a random name just popped up in my head when you were talking. Aslan, is it Aslan? Aslan from Narnia. You know the
The
lion?
lion from Narnia?
Yeah, I would change my name to that lion's name. I used to love
Yeah,
those
Aslan.
Narnia movies growing up. Yeah, Aslan. I used to love those movies, and they kind of traumatized me when I read the ending of everything in Narnia when I was a kid. But I would change my name to the lion's name, Aslan, because I think it's kind of cool. It makes me feel like mighty and strong. You know what I mean? I feel like I can roar, and then the world will change. Like I can create anything.
I
So
feel that.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
Aslan.
I I think about that sometimes too, changing my
Hmm.
name. If I had to,
Well,
I'd probably pick
yeah.
something like, Artemis. It just has, like, a lot of meaning for me because in college, my friends and I all had nicknames for each other. And that was mine just because I called my friend Apollo one time because every relationship he got into always ended poorly. I was like, one time we were
Oh,
having an argument. I was like, okay, Apollo, go sit down. Like when's the next one falling? When they dropping? And he's like, oh, at least I'm not like a little rude freaking feminist prude like you, Artemis. And from then on, Artemis has always been my online pseudonym. Like anytime, or like if I meet
mm,
a stranger, if I'm giving my name for like an order, I'll always just say that name. So I feel like
mhm,
if I was going to change it, it would probably be that.
yeah, Artemis.
But
Yeah, that
anyway,
makes sense. That's a good origin
yeah,
story for Artemis. I never really thought to ask why you would have like your username and stuff as Artemis, but it makes
yeah.
sense. It makes sense. You learn something new. I like that. I like
That's what this quiz is about.
that. Okay, it's my turn.
Mhm.
What makes you feel most alive?
Um, Probably like spending time with other people, like, and not just in the sense of like I guess that sounds kind of sad, but like when I'm out with my friends, like doing something, like Hannah, Sky, and I will have like a girls' day, a people's day, where we go and we'll get coffee or and we'll do some kind of activity, whether it's seeing a movie or we'll come back to my house and play games or watch something. And just in those moments, as we're laughing, like being mean to each other, goofing around, it's like those are those moments when I feel the most alive. When I'm like surrounded by others that I care about and we're all in this like joyous moment, or like when we were in college and we would be like critiquing art, sitting around with all our other little art peeps from the
Oh
department
yeah,
and being
yeah.
like sometimes maybe a little too noisy and having fun with like Kira, you and Raiden, and we're all like deep in the thralls of like a conversation. We're getting loud, everybody's like hands are slamming on the table.
Oh.
And those were always just like those the best moments for me in my life when I feel like, oh man, this is what it feels like to be alive. You know? To be
Mhm.
so grateful and joyous in a moment of existing. At least for me.
That's so
But
sweet.
yeah. Um when do you feel the most vulnerable?
When do I feel the most vulnerable? Um, um, I guess when I'm being, I don't know, my truest self. I don't know. I'm at my most vulnerable when I'm by myself. So um, it's interesting, like trying to be more vulnerable around other people since I haven't done that for most of my life. Just I've been closed off or whatever. um Still been better at it than most other people. But like when I'm by myself, that's when I'm most vulnerable. That's when I'm in my room dancing to, like, I don't know, girls generation, or or
Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child or TLC. I'm a girl group guy for real. Even not just that. I dance to anything, gospel music, pop music, like whatever I like, I dance to it, and that's when I'm really myself. Like I'm at a concert in my room, singing songs, trying to hit all the high notes, trying to just like when I'm by myself. I'm my most vulnerable when I'm talking to God too, I guess. When I'm just like sitting in my bed, because some people when they pray, they just be like on their knees. Oh Jesus, help me, Father God. I'm like, God, you know what happened today? Do you know what happened today? This is what my sister said to me. I think you should just strike them with lightning. This, that, and the other. But and then then he like you need to not say that. And I'm like, okay. I was reading some Bible. I'm a Christian, okay, but I was reading some. I'm a pastor's kid, actually. I was reading a story in the Bible. You know how to be saying pastor kids wild. I wish I was one of them wild pastor kids. I wish, because maybe I would have like started doing something. But I'm my own person, so that's okay. But I wish like reading some story about Sarah and Abraham, blah 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 blah. She was like, he was 100 something, she was 90 something. God said you about to get pregnant and have children. She laughed and blah 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 blah. Before that, God promised them children, and she told her servant, because this is way back in the olden times of wherever place, and she gave her servant to Abraham. She said, "Go have sex with her and have a child." So why would she have sex with her? Why would he have sex with her? And she got pregnant. Her servant was kind of get a little bit high and mighty. So she kicked the servant and started bullying her. I said, I don't like you, Sarah. I don't like you. And I had my whole moment complaining to God about how I don't like Sarah. Me and Sarah okay now. She dead though, so it don't really matter. But I'm most vulnerable when I'm just like sitting there and just like talking to myself or God, and I say everything when I'm by myself. Like I just say everything I'm feeling. That's a practice I try to get into, so I don't have to feel like I'm holding my emotions in. So that's when I'm most vulnerable. I don't. I kind of sound crazy, but that's okay. I don't care.
It's okay. We already knew.
We already okay. At least I look good, okay? So don't
Yeah, I
hit
can't
me up
relate
if you
on
like
that one.
crazy people. As long as you're not crazy, don't be crazy. I ain't that crazy. I like
Well, to chase
you know.
you, they might have to be crazy.
I don't know what you meant by that. Meet me in the parking lot. Okay.
Where? What parking lot? CC's?
CC's. I don't even work there anymore. I live in the woods now. I live in the woods. We found a lake. My parents found a lake, and they were fishing in the lake. I'm like, y'all. That's how you know when your parents getting old. Parents turning 50, and now they like fishing in lakes. I'm like, oh Lord, I need to get out of here. What do you think makes me smile? Let's see if you know. Most people can't.
Oh, wait, makes you smile? I don't know,
Mhm,
cause I see some really absurd stuff that makes you smile.
mhm. Like what?
You're trying not to smile right now.
Because I'm thinking about smiling. Like,
Makes you smile. I don't know. I think a lot of things can make you smile, like cringe, talking about
what do you
comics.
mean by cringe?
Like when you're feeling awkward and you're like, uh, uh,
When I feel
um,
awkward, when other people feel awkward, maybe I'll smile. When I'm feeling awkward, I really just like have this like extreme like face. Like
yeah.
I'm just like really serious. When I'm
RBF.
uncomfortable,
I know.
I don't talk. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of things that make you smile. Bringing joy to other people, doing something you're passionate about. Um, Obviously, like I said, me, I do a good job. I work hard to make this podcast a home. Probably I don't know. I feel like sometimes you have the ability to be hit by the laugh contagiousness of like when somebody else is laughing that you're with, that you're really close to, and
Mhm.
like you can't help but start to laugh or smile with
I,
them.
I have a lot of empathy. Oh, sadly.
Yeah.
Oh, I can feel when I walk in the room. I can feel emotions. I don't like that sometimes.
But yeah, at least with me, or my
Mhm.
instinct is if somebody smiles at me, I try and smile back because I was like, unless it's creepy. If they're being a creep, I'm like, oh, get away from me. But
Mhm.
most of the time, if somebody smiles at me, I have to be like, hi,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I get that.
But that's just me. Um, how easy or difficult is it for you to show yourself love or speak kindly to yourself? Well, you kind of answered that, but it's fine.
I
Answer
did kinda
again.
answer. Most of the time it's easy because I make it a practice every day to do it every day. Whenever I have a negative thought, I'm like, "Oh, there's a negative thought. Let me replace it with a positive one." But before, like a year or 2 ago, oh, no. Oh, I couldn't do that. Oh, Lord, I had so many negative thoughts in my head about myself. I thought I was the most horrible person on the planet. I thought nobody liked me. Not It's funny because I never really cared if anybody liked me, but I always also thought that I wasn't worth anybody liking, you know what I mean? Which is weird. When I think about it, like, especially now, it's not like I was saying, like, "You're not worthy, those you don't say it like that. Your mind don't say it like that, but it's like small little things that come into your head, "You're not good enough," or "That person's only being nice to you because they feel like they have to be nice to you," or "This person is only texting you because they ain't got nothing else to do." Stuff like that, you know?
Dang.
Stuff like that. So yeah, but now I speak very kindly about myself. I don't allow myself to speak negatively about myself. I allow myself to like understand like the negative things that might come in my mind, but after that I replace it with something positive because if I just ignore the negative, then it's just gonna stay there and grow. So I have to let it, come, but I don't let it stay, if that makes sense. So yeah, I
Yeah.
do. It's not too difficult. Sometimes it's difficult, but it's for the most part it gets easier and easier the more you do it. That's why I like sending you affirmations because when you read your affirmations and you continue to say them, you get better at it. Do you feel like it's helped you in any way? That's what I should ask.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's one of those things that like every day, regardless of what kind of day I'm having, it kind of like no matter how much I guess that I'm like squatting on myself, I'm kind of like, oh, today isn't my day. It like reminds me that somebody else is thinking about me and that I
Mhm,
exist, and
mhm.
it makes me feel better. So,
Yeah,
it does, it has made my days better.
yeah. It's
Some days
not
more than
always
others, but
easy.
yeah.
Some days more
No.
than others. That's so true. So true. Because now I'm not gonna sit here and be like, just because I say my affirmations every day, don't mean I don't have bad moments or bad days. You always have a bad moment,
Yeah.
a bad day. Sometimes it's a bad week. Sometimes it may be a bad month. But like when you start
Yeah.
saying your affirmations and stuff, you start to believe certain things. That's why I have a very long list that I say every day because when I say the same things every day and continue to remind myself, it helps me. That's why I love affirmations. Um, what annoys you the most about people in 3 words?
Like, are we talking about like a phrase, or like can I just give three different like reasons as like words as to why people annoy me?
I think they just mean like 3 different words. 3 words that it doesn't
Okay.
matter. Like, yeah. Just like
Um, so the first one is ignorance. I very much dislike, especially chosen ignorance, like when people choose to not be educated, but still decide to have opinions and don't realize that those opinions affect others just as much as themselves. Um, People are very willing, especially I guess for us, it's a little different because we live in the South. We live in a very an area where it's easy to just be um ignorant and not educate yourself and go around spouting information or making like voting and making choices that affect other people but just being set in your ways. And
hmm,
I very much dislike that. Like maybe this is controversial to bring up on the podcast, but especially in terms of like say when there was the whole, I think it was Amendment 1 with women reproductive rights going around. It was like a very
yeah.
big topic of
Mhm,
animosity here because obviously we're in the South. It's very there's religion plays a very important part, Christianity, Catholicism, in our
mhm,
area, and I 100% respect that. I respect anybody's beliefs, But at the same time, I also happen to know people who have been in maybe some not so fortunate circumstances resulting in assault and things like that. That I feel like that act played a very important role to their safety and their comfort. Um, but because people would rather not consider things outside of religion,
Yeah.
circumstances that maybe, I'm sure I can't speak on his behalf, but God himself would probably also believe like that, people deserved more care and comfort for, would no longer have those things accessible to them. But instead
Mhm.
of like considering those factors, I was once told by a teacher from a high school that, if it happens, if a woman is assaulted, then, that's a battle God is giving to them that they need to bear. And no
Mm.
offense, I don't think it's any person, human being's place to make a
Yeah.
word on behalf of God or a
Yeah.
decision on behalf of God. So
Mhm.
stuff like that, like ignorance, with instead of thinking about, because I'm sure he said that, just thinking from himself, his perspective.
Yeah.
But if it was his daughter, if it was his wife, if it was somebody present in his life going through that experience, like the person in my life who I'm not going to name who it was, that went through those experiences and like was so much supported by those resources, then I'm sure he would not be saying those words to my face.
Mhm.
Um, and I've been like on the same vein, I guess. Um, so yeah, anyway, sorry, ignorance. Ignorance is my main one. The thing that annoys me the most, it is the one thing I think in this world, like we've talked about, like, forgiveness of people, because like in
Mhm.
reality, who does that burden but yourself? I think
Mhm.
ignorance is one of like the few things that I don't know, it's always in my mind. Like I
Yeah.
cannot I like if somebody chooses to be ignorant and hurts other people as a result of that ignorance, I just can't do it. And
Yeah.
I won't like attack them or anything, but I'm the kind of person where if someone is not, like, I say, benefiting my life, if they are not adding to my life, if they are not contributing, like as like either like maybe companionship, like if I'm not helping them, they're not helping me, and they're just choosing to be in a sense a negative presence in my life, I'll leave. I'm not gonna be mean to them. I'm not gonna
Snip,
make a
snip,
scene.
snip, snip. Mhm.
Yeah,
Cut them
I'll
off.
just walk away.
Mhm.
And it's like I said, I don't make a scene, but just I just stop talking to them. Like, why am I
Mhm.
going to go out of my way to hurt myself, in a sense,
Mm.
to be around you?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
ignorance is one of those things that it's an automatic, like, we're done, like, peace. See you in the next life. I hope in the next one we can maybe meet again, and you will,
Mhm.
maybe both of us will have grown.
Yeah.
Um, Second thing is probably I say hate. Um, and that it could also be, I guess, like synonyms, bigotry, uh, I don't know, any kind of hate, like racism, sexism.
Yeah.
Like, if you got an ism that isn't on a spectrum, then I don't think we could be friends. like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because why would you promote hate? Like, why would you encourage discrimination? Or like, I don't care if it's like you're a religious person hating on somebody's choices that, no offense, aren't your
Mhm.
choice to judge. I don't care if you're an atheist who loves science who's hating on religious people just because they choose to believe in God. I don't care who you are, who you're attacking.
Mhm.
I don't think that there's any reason for you to need to attack people. Which I guess
Yeah.
I'm also in that boat because I hate on all those people. I'm like, oh, I hate all the, but so I am part of the problem. But I think that if you're out there promoting hate, like on a soapbox somewhere, saying the sky's falling, we have to kill all of insert group of people in order to make things right, I think you shouldn't
Mhm.
have an opinion.
Yeah.
Um, and then let's say third, corrupt politicians. I consider that one.
Is that a one word?
Yeah, I consider corruptitians. That's one word. We're done.
Corruptition.
Uh, I dislike people who have power, and instead of choosing to do good with that power, like they may promise, they instead are making choices that instead only benefit their upper class position.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I guess we can call that capitalism. or
Yeah.
like that's a one word. I like I always joke about like winning the lottery, and I always think about what I would do with that kind of money. And obviously, I ain't no saint. I ain't gonna be delivering it all to charity. Like would be like the nicest thing I could do for anybody. But I'm also not on what's that called? Wolf of Wall Street rolling it out to only the upper class white people who be running that market. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I ain't sitting with Zuckerberg. What's the fuck? His pardon. What the heck their names are? Donald Trump. Everybody over there on Wolf of Wall Street throwing out
Yeah.
money while people are suffering, dying, going
Mhm.
poor. Students are getting in debt, and meanwhile, all they care about is their tax break. I don't got time for all that money stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know. I always say again, if I win the lottery, one, I just want to like establish myself, like get into a place, like my own house. I want to set up to have like my own art. Like I want to work on my art. I want to have enough set aside to where I can do that comfortably. And then I
Yeah.
always say that I would like to invest in the people who have invested in me and like in rights that I believe in. So obviously, I would probably donate some to like women's rights, either shelters, like for like women who may not have opportunities, um, and obviously towards uh care for women, like so any kind of health
Yeah.
care or specialty care for maybe traumatized or assaulted individuals. And then obviously it would go down the list of obviously people who've been present in my life. I'd probably give some to the business I work for now because they invested time in me, gave me the certified experience I need in the industry I need to be in. I'll have my
Mhm.
2 years of experience, which is required of any other um, place of work in my field. I'm very fortunate that they gave me my opportunity when I had 0 years of experience.
Mhm.
I'd probably obviously invest in my friends, aka this podcast, because not only were you
Aw.
kind enough to go ahead and invite me on here as like a co-host and to help and be a part of something that you're doing to be with other people and to encourage and raise up other people. Um, but also, like, you know, you're my friend and you work way harder than anybody, even myself, sees. You know, and I'm sure like you're not paying yourself like what is the not to be me, but we're not at the point where this podcast is monetized enough to where you're making what is technically a livable
Yeah.
wage. You're fortunate to live with your family. Um,
Mhm.
again, I'd probably invest in Hannah. She is a
Yeah.
writer, an amazing poet, and nobody knows her name, you know, and
Mhm.
that's insane to me. I'd probably give
Say my
to
name, say
local
my
small
name.
galleries so that
Uh-huh.
they could have the funds to assist more local artists who so that they don't have to pay out of pocket to put their work
Yeah.
up or get it out there. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
There are just ways that people with money can like I'm not saying they all have to be bleeding hearts that give to every foundation, but when you make over a certain amount of money, like why are people like you and I who are struggling to survive paying social security and all these Medicare high taxes that we
Mhm.
may never even see a turnover for when what taxes do they pay when they just give it all to donation and it's probably to a relative or somebody where the money comes back. Nope.
Mhm. Yeah. Or to like
So
an animal.
we've
Some
established
rich people be some people be giving they animals animals money and stuff. Like, I remember a lady gave millions of dollars to her cat when she died. I said, "Sis, you better go somewhere. Give me that money."
exactly. So I guess my 3 words were ignorance, hate, and capitalism. To bring us back around, I guess. Um, so I guess next question. What scares you the most?
Oh, I don't know. I guess not having an effect on people's lives, like failing in helping people be better, I guess. Yeah. I would used to think maybe it's like being alone or something. But no, I'm fine with that. If I'm alone for the rest of my life on a deserted island, God don't do that. But if I'm ever alone on a deserted island by myself, I think I'll be able to make it. But if I don't have an impact on people's lives to help their lives become better, like, I don't know, this sounds kind of because I'm people might think that I'm just like being very phony or whatever. But if I just really want to make people's lives better. I want people to smile and be happy. And if I fail at that, and if I leave this earth and none of that happens, then I think I will have failed at my job. That's what I'm scared the most. Instead of making
See,
people's lives better, either have no effect or I just make everyone's lives worse.
You see, you did that in a very heartfelt way. Mine is just home invasion.
Well, that's an immediate thing, you know what I mean? I'm scared of that too. But know what? But my dad was a police officer and stuff, so he know how to handle
Oh,
that stuff. He taught us stuff, some things, so,
dang,
you know,
Kaiser. I don't got that kind of experience.
yeah.
I have an irrational fear of that. Anyway.
Yeah, I get it though. I get it. I do not like, and because of that, I do have some fears. Like I do not like when I'm like out by myself. I'm always like looking around, making sure somebody don't like, especially if it's at night, it's dark, baby. I'm looking everywhere. You ain't coming at me. I'm not afraid to run. I'm not afraid to press buttons. I ain't afraid to throw stuff, use flashlights, punch you in the face, because you ain't getting me today. I ain't the one to kidnap. I know I'm pretty. I know I look good, but you ain't getting me. I that ain't happening. I am the first to be looking around. I pay attention every time I walk into a room. I pay attention to where the exits are because I need to know where I need to go to get out of here. I pay attention to if I'm walking down the street. I'm paying attention to who's driving because anybody could come, get out their car, stop, and pull me in. I don't care. You ain't getting me. That's scary. And also look. I work out and stuff, and I'm still 5'5". I'm still look cute and innocent. That I'm not I'm not like, like the biggest person in the world. So I'm not gonna play with that. You know what I mean? I used to when we were in college, I had my mace with me everywhere I went. I didn't play that. It was always hidden in my bag, in a pocket somewhere. At night, me and my sister, we had our mace. Somebody tried to break into our apartment. We were ready. We ain't playing. We ain't doing that today. Mm-mm. um, It's my turn. What is more important to you in a dream job? Status, power, or money, and why?
So I I was gonna say when I go and look for a job, I don't think of those things, I guess, as being like contributing factors. Obviously, like wage is something to worry about, like in a sense of living. But like I don't go into like a job thinking, man, am I gonna have status, power, or money? Like I'm some like we joked about in my last question, like some upper
Mhm,
class white man going into the office. I don't think about those things.
mhm,
But if I had to pick one, obviously, I think money is, like, important. Like, not in the sense of, like, I'm a money hungry, like, savage, like, all the
mhm.
Mr. Krabs, all the coins gotta come to me. Don't get us monetized, I'm so demonetized, whatever it is, just because I said a character that's licensed, but, like, I, like I say money's important out of the 3 just because I feel like, I can get towards other goals in my life more, I guess, in a sense with, money. The next would probably be status just because not like I'm looking to be, like, famous or anything, but, like, in the arts community, who you know and how you know them can sometimes
Yeah.
play a very important role in relationships, and
Mhm,
where you're going, so, money is important just because I can either give back to other people or I can invest in other areas of my life. I I'll overshare a little. I have a niece, so I would like to invest in her future. So,
mhm,
money is important. But genuinely, when I go and look for a job, I don't go in thinking, "Let me see if I can get one of the big 3 guys." I think, you know, is it a livable wage? Am I still gonna have time for other areas of my life? Am I doing something I enjoy?
mhm.
Like the if you will, like, the happiness factor is more important to
Yeah,
me when I go to look for a job, like, am I gonna be? Because 'cause I've worked jobs that I'm miserable in, like, in college, there was never a time where I did not work 2 or 3 jobs at a time in an attempt
yeah.
to, like, make money so that I could still have experiences and go to college and do this and that and the other, um and so I know what it's like to work hard in jobs that, like,
Mhm,
make you miserable and, like, especially in retail. I've been an associate, I've been a manager, I've dealt with this, that, and the other. I've had stuff thrown at me, I've had people spit at me, like, I've had people yell at me in attempts to humiliate me and make me cry. Like, I know how it feels to be miserable in a job and just
mhm,
for the sake of, like, getting money to get by. So, for me, I think I'm at a point in my life where, yeah, wage is important, but at the end of the day, I think my comfort, my happiness, and the respect in my workplace is more important. Like being respected by my coworkers and knowing that at the end of the day, if I was to go through another poor situation where I wasn't being treated the best by, say, a customer or someone outside of our business, that they were going to have my back in that situation, which, again, in the job I'm at, I'm very fortunate that they think very highly of me and respect me. I'm very fortunate that I work for a small business, and there have been times where I've been yelled at or like something's happened on the phone, and because we do a lot of service over the phone, and would
Mhm.
bring stuff outside because we're more of like a manufacturer style, I guess you could say. We make a lot of product and we usually just bring it out to them. It's not a lot of people interaction, at least in my position. But again, I've been like yelled at on the phone by somebody trying to get business with us, and my boss has walked by and heard me getting yelled at, and he'll just like look at me and he'll like take the phone, and he just hung up on the phone. Like
Yeah.
he was just like, I don't need business from them. And I
Mhm.
was like obviously he owns the business, so it's like, I'm like, are you sure? Like I'm not trying to like you guys get a bad reputation or whatever. He's like, obviously if that person feels the need to yell at somebody who's not responsible for the issue she's having, and she feels that hurt about it that she needs to be rude and treat someone else poorly, I don't need her business. And that just means a lot. Like I've never had somebody stand up for me like that. And so, like I said, that respect brings my loyalty to my company and my effort into that job way further than any kind of money, power, or status.
So
Yeah.
admirable. Yeah.
I know. And like I said, like I always brag about my work. Like I don't always like to say where it is, at least like in situations like this, just because I don't want people knowing where we live necessarily. Like,
Mhm.
just for my comfort. Like, if you want to blast your address on the internet, that's fine.
Oh, no, 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 no.
But
I've been
I'm not
taught
looking
not
for
to do that
anybody
right
to.
now.
I don't want
Mhm.
to make a hot take and somebody show up at my house,
Right.
or my
Yeah.
work and give a problem. Which I don't think I ever will. But you never know. People are crazy on the internet.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I will more in person like boast about my job. I'll be like, yeah, I work for a black owned business that's small and helps out the community. Like I take pride in it. Um, what? What's that face for?
Nothing. Nothing. Go ahead. Okay. Um,
Anyway, um, okay. So next question, I guess. Is there anything you see inside of yourself that makes you curious?
babe, I'm just gonna be honest. I don't even know what that means. What do you
Like,
like?
are there any parts of yourself that you feel like you've yet to explore and discover that like you wish to further investigate?
Tons, sure, but curious just kind of sounds like I don't know. It sounds kind of I don't know. Tons of stuff. I don't know what exactly. I have tons of stuff that I would love to try and experience. Going around the world, meeting people, making friends, having relationships. I don't know. Uh, that's inside of me though. Like I don't know. I honestly just can't think of something right now. If I'm being honest, let's just skip it because I can't think of that right now.
Okay, and then do you
Uh,
want me to ask you the next question, or would you like to just it's your turn again to ask me, and then we just keep going?
you can just ask me the next question. Yeah, let's
Okay.
go that way.
What is one embarrassing moment you have not told anyone about yet?
That I have not told anyone about. I feel like okay, so there was one time when I was in high school where I was running for class president, for senior class president. I didn't talk that much, but I went and handed I was because I worked in the office at that time. This the school office. I worked there in like midday, and then after school, if I stayed after school, I would stay there and work until school was over. um for whatever reason, just to stay. But I one time went to a class full of 11th graders that I knew were 11th graders, and one of my classmates were old classmates were in there. She was I think in my class. But I told her to tell everybody to vote for me for senior class president while I was taking like picking up the tardy sheets or whatever. And then I just got this idea. I said, I know this is a class of just 11th graders, and I know that they're gonna think that I think that they're seniors, and people are gonna think I don't know who my class is, but I know. So I'm just gonna say and go in there and say, vote for Kaiser for class president for no reason at all. Literally, that's what I did because I felt spontaneous in that moment. I walked in there, vote for Kaiser for senior class president, and they started laughing at me, and I was like, yeah, 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 we'll do that. Blah 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 blah. I knew it was 11th graders, and I just I don't know why I did that, and I closed the door. I just started. I find the stupidest things funny because why did I do that? And I found that to be embarrassing for myself, but I did it on purpose. So I don't know. I don't know what I was supposed to do about that. And I guess another embarrassing thing, like there are things I'm embarrassed about, but there are things that stick with you. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Um, I used to talk about it all the time when I liked that person, and then I kept reaching out to them too many times when they were out for me. And then they told all their friends instead of reading my messages to them. And
It's fine.
I felt no, but it's funny. But they were reading all my messages to them and like laughing and stuff. And I was like, dang, you kind of got me good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, but I laugh at it now, but I found that to be like extremely embarrassing. But at the same time, they were like cussing me out and all that stuff, and they had reasons to because I hurt their feelings, blah 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 blah. But they were cussing me out, and by that moment, I'm like, were you cussing me out and like saying a whole bunch of mean things to me, and you doing it purposely to hurt my feelings? I already just like stop paying attention to what you say and just don't take you seriously anymore, even if you like hurt or whatever. Maybe that's a coping mechanism. Not that I don't take you seriously or your feelings seriously, but like you just went out of your way to like try to hurt me.
Mhm.
And so if I feel I need to put you in your place, I'll do it. If I don't, I'm just gonna be like, okay. Like, cause they were like, leave me to HE double hockey sticks alone. I'm so pure. And I was like, okay. Cause like you just cussed me out. Like went on whole long messages, assaulted me, saying a whole bunch of stuff. I said, we cool. We good. Don't worry about me ever reaching out to you again. Like I'm not mad. I'm not upset. If I was mad, I would admit it. I'm not mad. I'm not anything. I'm just like you don't matter. It like it doesn't matter anymore. Good for you. Like I'm gonna be paying your bills one day or something. I don't know. But you know, those are the two most embarrassing things that I can think of. Yeah, that's all I can think of. Yeah.
It's okay, Kaiser.
Um.
I used to be like that
the
too, okay? Like,
what?
I used to be art club president, and to get the new freshmen to join my club, I would say the most embarrassing stuff to like get a reaction out of the incoming
Mhm,
freshmen because like their school would visit our school and we'd have like the
mhm.
club expo in the gym, and I would literally just sit there and say, "Sell your soul to art club. We have cookies."
Girl,
And I would
yeah. Oh,
just
look at you,
yell
so
it on
crazy.
top of my lungs, and some of the kids loved it. Some of the teachers did not. Um, but, I never was short on members, so it worked,
Mhm,
obviously.
mhm. So I would ask you the next question, but we actually really talked about that Artemis. So let's probably go to
Yeah,
the question to that. Are you more afraid of death or of not living? Oh,
probably not living.
mhm.
Like, this sounds like, again, cringe, and depressing, but
It's
I'm not
not
afraid
cringe
of
if you
dying.
yourself, yeah. No,
I
yeah,
was gonna
no. Same.
say, I'm not afraid of dying. Like, I've considered dying. I'm not afraid of dying, but I think
Yeah.
I like I'm afraid of not like living my life to the fullest and being someone that takes life for granted. At a young age, I lost some people that were very close to me who did not get a choice and whether or not they were going to have to leave this world or whatnot. And it like made a very big impact on me when I considered that. Like spoke at the beginning about how I was a little more serious about how I have struggles with my emotions and depression and issues like that. But I'm always brought back to that point where I realize, like, it sounds messed up to say, but in my brain, I'm like I should not be sitting here crying about my life when obviously, like, there are people in this world who have it so much harder than I do, and I'm
Mhm,
taking the life that I'm so fortunate enough to have for granted
mhm,
and not appreciating it when I know that there are people like that person who was in my life who did not get a choice to stay or leave this world.
mhm,
And I'm sure they'd be looking back on me now like, "Oh my gosh, woman, pull your stuff together." Like there's so much you have a gift, you have a job, you have people in your life that care about you. Like, get your butt in gear. Like, hit the gas. Like, keep going. And I try to remind
mhm,
myself that. And I try to always find like very positive and more productive outlets in my day, even if like I feel like I can't even get out of bed.
Mm,
And so like that, I definitely am more afraid of like wasting the life I'm very fortunate enough to have.
mm,
Um and yeah. So I ain't no fear of death. Death and I could square up. I ain't
come on, come
afraid.
on, come on.
Oh yeah, like catch me rolling.
Don't come right
Catch
now.
these little
No.
hands.
Yeah,
Right on podcast. Death is just gonna
yeah.
pop behind me. We gonna
Uh,
tussle. Kaiser's just gonna be
oh,
getting out the popcorn,
oh no. I'll be
watching the
getting out the
view.
room. Like I'm out. You
I
ain't
ain't
coming after me
witnessing
today.
this.
You ain't knowing where I'm living.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, where would you like to be in 5 years?
What I like to be in 5 years. Um, so I have a lot of dreams. So what would I like to be 5 years? Singing somewhere on some stage, acting somewhere on TV. I would like to have an HBO show. I
Cool.
already have the idea of what it is. I'm not gonna say it. Helping people, wearing the clothes that I always wanted to wear, like just like changing men's fashion forever. That's what I really want to do. I want to change men's fashion. Act. I want to write an album. I want to do that. I want to be a part of a singing group. Um, Me and my sisters have been singing together since I was 10. I'm 20. I'm about to turn 25. So we've been singing together with a little thing or whatever since I was 10. So one day I want to release an album and have a singing group. And I don't know. I have like all these like, kidding. I want to be the main character in the X-Men movie. Truly. That's been my dream since before I even knew. I know this might sound stupid to people, but it's really a dream. Since I was like 5 or whatever, I love the X-Men. And so like before I even knew that they were X-Men movies, I wanted to be the main character in the X-Men movie. So that's where I really want to be there in 5 years. So I'm just letting that out into existence. And I don't know, just helping people and like doing my best things that I want to do, and also things that that cater to other people too. So in 5 years, I want this podcast to be very big too. In 5 years, maybe sooner than that, but like at a even bigger level than I can imagine in 5 years.
Like I said, Kaiser, I'm gonna win the Powerball and I'll give you a million.
Thank you,
Minimum,
thank you.
minimum, minimum a million.
I want to also like move somewhere else and like not be in the South. I like the South, but I want to like go somewhere else. I always say I don't want to live in like no, I want to be in a concrete jungle. Like I don't want to. I don't want to take care of no grass. I don't want to do none of that crap. Mm-mm-mm. I'm gonna have people do that for me. Live in a mansion. Like I don't want to do that. I don't. I don't like it. I'm
I
not an
don't know,
outside.
Kaiser. My neighborhood has some pretty decent houses.
Mhm. I live in the woods. We have acres of land now. We moved here earlier last year. I don't want to take care of that. My parents like, "Oh, we bought this house for y'all next door." I'm like, "Yep." And my sisters can take it, or my children can take it, because no, no, I'm not unless I get workers and pay for it to keep it up. I'm not. I ain't doing
Workers,
that. Mm-mm. Workers, like my people
workers,
work
and a
hard.
driver.
Right, workers on the drive. I don't like to drive either. I have a license. I just don't like to drive. I drive when I need to. Like I needed to drive a few weeks ago, but I don't like to drive. It's just it used to be because I was scared of driving, and the more I drive now, I'm not scared of it. I just realized I don't like it. And I don't like the idea of having to drive and always look out for the other driver, because all these other drivers are not looking out for me. They will hit you in a second. And I'm like, I ain't doing all that. So one day I'm gonna have a personal driver. I mark my words, because I don't like driving. I do not like that. Um, do you want kids? If so, would you prefer having a baby without a partner or a partner without a baby? What? Okay. Oh, um,
So it's asking if I want to be a single parent or a parentless or a.
a parentless adult in a couple.
Okay, so the whole topic of kids is always, I guess, a controversy when you're a woman. Like obviously for the longest time it's like women are to stay at home and take care of the house and have children and And we're definitely in an age where women are more so like looking to go out and have their own careers rather than staying in the home and having a family. Personally, so I grew up with like multiple, like a relatively large house. I have 3 younger siblings. Um, so I think I feel like I've had my fair share of children. You know, I've
Yeah.
always been very adamant growing up that like I don't dislike kids. Obviously, I enjoy the company of my siblings. I am relatively really good with children. Um, however, I also was very close growing up. Like going through high school with someone who was in the foster system.
Mhm.
So during that time, like knowing that person and their struggles in the system, I always like realized that like, I don't think I emotionally could go through the process of like pregnancy and having my own child. Like it's just I already struggle with my own mental health and I just don't know that the hormones and the experience of pregnancy would be beneficial to like my mental health or like even also just like post pregnancy, like am I going to be able, like I can struggle some days to just even love and take care of myself, like how am I supposed to take care of like another existence?
Yeah.
Was always my concern cuz I never wanted to create a family or a home where anyone in that home felt unloved or uncared for. um so I always told myself that if I was ever going to have children, I would probably adopt them. I'd probably start out as a foster parent, and of course like there's a lot of obvious like struggles and complications that can come with that. Like obviously a lot of these kids are coming from homes that may not be the best, or like maybe they've gone through certain experiences that have brought them into this point. But I've always felt like I would rather in a sense take on that than necessarily like bring another life into this world, that may or may not be good for them. Like I would rather take in somebody who needs my help and who needs a place to go that's already here and has maybe not had the best um they the dice they were dealt may not have been their best in that moment, and I would rather help them get to a healthier point in life like my friend needed versus like I said, just adding to this population and taking the chance of myself not being able to emotionally be there for that new existence.
Mm.
um and like I said, I love children. My One of my siblings had a child and I love my niece so much. Like I never realized I could love such a little existence, a
Yeah.
little nugget. Like I love her, but I just don't think like, well, as I still right now struggle caring for myself and loving myself, that I could,
Mm.
like having a child isn't going to make that magically disappear. you know
Mm.
um so again, I would probably, it probably won't be anytime soon, obviously. Like I'm still in my 20s. I don't need
Yeah.
no offspring right now. But
That's
maybe when
our
I'm
generation
older,
right there.
yeah, maybe when
Yeah.
I'm in my 30s and I have like a set career, set income, my own home, um, I'll take in either adopt or foster children. And honestly, I'd probably pick older children, like older kids, because they tend to have more struggles with adoption and
Yeah.
fostering, just because they already have their own memories of experiences and memories of other people who are those parenting roles in their life. And so obviously it's going to be hard. I'm not saying maybe they won't be, but I would rather be hated and take care of somebody who needs like someone willing to be there for them. Like I'm willing to be that one that I'll take the
Wow.
hit. Like you can hate me as much as you want, but that's not going to stop me from taking care of you.
Wow.
But yeah, then that's not me trying to have like a savior complex either. I'm not looking to save nobody,
Yeah.
but that friend, I was like, rest in peace. But
Mhm.
I like, yeah, I would like to save someone that was my friend.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, before I get sad, she um what was the biggest mistake that impacted you the most in life?
Well, that impacted me most of my life. I'm gonna have to go back to that thing, that person. So let me just say
Yeah.
it like this, because it caused me to go on this whole journey to loving myself and like accepting parts of myself that I didn't like. You know, I do not like to hurt people. You know what I mean? And I felt very guilty for bringing somebody in a situation that I brought them in. even though we're like both young and not the most mature, it really hurt me when you see hurt on somebody else's face. Like even if they don't try to show it, if they even if they try to hide it, even if they don't know how to emotionally regulate it, but when you can see like hurt on someone else's face, that really like affects you. And I wish it didn't go that way, but I'm also grateful for it because it was a blessing in disguise. Because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't discover things about myself. I would have kept denying things about myself, and I would have probably continued to be depressed and hate myself and not go on that journey of self love. And while it was a mistake, me learning to love myself helps me to love people more. You know what I mean? And so like I don't care if that person hates me to this day. You know what I mean? I still have love for that person. I'm not saying I want to be their best friend. I'm not saying, if they never want to reconcile, I'll be like, oh, but I am saying, that it impacted me. And while it was a mistake at the time, it did help me, to try to be a better person and to, I always considered others' feelings, but I always considered others' feelings in expense to my own feelings. And I had to realize that in order to love other people in any capacity, I really do have to love myself. And so if, because it's inevitable, you're gonna hurt people, but um, when you learn to love yourself, it's easier for you to, I don't know, forgive yourself, I guess. Forgive yourself and to recognize human beings as human beings. You know what I mean? That like that person who I hurt, and even though they were mad at me and even though they cussed me out, and stuff like that, and did this and the other and did a whole bunch of stuff, I still see you as a human being. And the people that may have bullied me in like middle school or whatever and things like that, I see you as a human being and I love you just because you're you. You know what I mean? And some people might come back into my life, like middle school people and stuff, because they have, you know what I mean, like old classmates and stuff. That I talk to every now and then. Some people don't, but it's not about like it's not about what they can give me. It's about what I can give to myself and what I can give to them. Because when I give to myself, then I always I have enough to give to other people. You know what I mean? And so if you never want to
Mhm.
see me again, I'm gonna give you that space. You know what I mean? And that mistake, I felt so guilty about it, and it was horrible because the guilt overtook me for like over a year. I could hardly eat as much as I could. You know, I was even more depressed than I was before I even knew I had depression. Um, at the time when I had it, I was I felt like I couldn't tell anybody anything, and I felt alone, and I knew how that felt, and so that really pushed me to just wanna accept all parts of myself, even the parts that I don't like or didn't like, or same thing, So my
Mhm.
biggest mistake in my life ended up also being my biggest blessing. So if that makes anything like better,
Yeah.
and so I really do wish like nothing but the best. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I love people. I don't know. I don't want to see people um hurt themselves or fall into bad coping mechanisms and things like that, because people carry hurt. You know what I mean? From past traumas. You know what I mean? Things that happen in your childhood affects every part of your life in the future. You know what I mean? That's why it's so important to heal and stuff. And that's why it's important to forgive yourself for your mistakes and do better. You know what I mean? You're not gonna always get it right. You're not gonna always be the nicest person, the best person, but like take your mistakes, and instead of looking at them as mistakes, look at them as lessons. I guess that's how I always look at my mistakes. I look at them as lessons, and I don't know. I love you, Kaiser, and I love you, all those other people. I love you, Sabrina. I don't know.
Thanks, Kaiser. I love you too.
What type of a relationship? Oh, should I even know? Should I skip?
We can do that. That's
You can
fine.
do it. Okay, what type of relationship do you have with your parents?
Um, so as Kaiser's apprehension to ask this question implies, my relationship with my parents is a little complicated.
Mhm,
Which it's funny. I'm saying this. The reason I want to say this, I think, is because I want to come. I like recently have come to better terms, I guess, on my relationship with them. Um, and who knows? Maybe my parents will see this episode and get mad at everything I've said so far because we don't always see eye to eye, and I'm sure some of the stuff I'm going to say may, I guess, I wouldn't say hurt their feelings, but my relationship with my parents has always been like, I've sought to be like this certain level of perfection. It was never like said directly to me that I have to be absolutely perfect. But there was a point in my youth where I felt like in order to be loved, I had to be like if I wasn't good enough, I was going to be abandoned and
yeah,
I was going to be thrown away.
mhm,
And again, there was never a time when my parents ever said that to me. They were never like, if you're not perfect, you can't be my child anymore. But there was just always this, obviously in any kind of like raising or growing or teaching, like, there are methods, like rewards and consequences. And I just always felt like the consequences for when I was not perfect just were not good enough. And part of that was my mental health stuff that I had never addressed and
mhm,
whatnot. And part of that is also because up until a certain point, obviously, the generation that my parents are in didn't necessarily believe or have options for mental health. So in their
mhm,
mind, I was just acting up versus in reality, I have manic depression, which to
mhm,
this day we've never talked about. They don't necessarily acknowledge just because I've never brought it up to them. And it's not that they wouldn't accept me if I said I think I have manic depression, but it would probably be one of those conversations that I wouldn't like their answers to. They'd probably be like, "Okay, well, maybe that is if it's real, you might have it, but like maybe like, if you just pray about it and you
mhm,
don't, it'll be better." And
right,
so, and again, that's not them trying to be mean. It's not them saying they don't love me. It's just that's their mindset.
yeah,
And so, as for my relationship with my parents, I'll always love my parents. But my parents had me when they were young. They were kids. My mom had me when she was 18. She was a ballerina, just about to graduate high school. And my dad was, this kind of cool semi, I don't want to call him a jock because, he was in band. He was like a trumpet player. He just thought he was like, goofy and cool, kind of, always wanted to move to California and play volleyball. Um, but of course, the accident occurred where I was brought into this world. And my parents' lives kind of had to stop. And while my dad is a man of like solely responsibility, who just, he had to take responsibility for his actions, do what was right. He had to marry her, do all this stuff. Um, but my parents were in love in reality. Like, they were teenagers. Like, in reality, what percentage of people who you date somebody in high school, you're going to be with them for the rest of your life,
yeah,
It was like a young thing that honestly, they didn't really, it wasn't going to stay. But I was the result of those actions. And in the process of them still growing up, as in a sense I was growing up, like though they may not acknowledge it, they did the best that they could. I acknowledge that. But their choices affected me and how they treated one another and those around them treated one another affected
mhm,
me. And
mhm,
I'm very fortunate to have siblings who came after me. I'm not going to air my parents' dirty laundry, but I do have a stepmom and two brothers that are not like from my mother, and I don't mind that. That does not make them any less of my family. Um, but that's always been like a pinnacle of other people's commentary that blood takes priority over found family and those who choose to be in your life. But I would like to make that the biggest point of my relationship with my parents. Of I love my parents and they will always be my parents. They brought me into this world. Um, but the reality is one is a very pressing disciplinarian who took care of me out of responsibility, and one is someone who took a little longer to find themselves and who loves me dearly now and will do everything to make it up to me that they were not always present and able to give me what I deserved. But at the end of the day, their parents and children's relationship, I don't always see with them. They are more so like I wouldn't say friends. Well, kind
Mhm.
of friends. But if I had to say that I had one parent, it would probably be Becky. And Becky is my stepmom who, despite all the crap, pardon my French, still chose to be my mom. And that doesn't disregard my real mother. I love my mom to death. But I would like to stress that being a child in an unfortunate situation and having somebody pick you over that situation means a lot.
Mhm.
Especially um when you're mentally ill and wanna die.
Mhm.
And they still picked to be there and to love you. It means a lot. Um and I was not intending to cry.
You're
Um
okay.
but yeah. So the one thing to take away is to I guess on the topic of my earlier discussion of like adopting children and of family that there's a quote everybody always says and gets wrong, and it's that blood is thicker than water, and that is not the quote. It is the blood of the coven is thicker than the water of a womb. And that is that those who choose to be in your life and love you are more important than those who are there out of obligation because they made you. And so, yeah. So that's how I am with my parents. I love them to death. But I'll leave it as that there was only one person on my emergency contact form. And that's okay. You know? And
Mhm.
so yeah. So to get emotional in this episode, one of us had to cry.
Okay.
And it was gonna be me
D
because I'm hiding on hormones, and it's alright. You know, we live our lives.
do you wanna
But
stop?
yes, no, I'm perfectly okay. Um,
Sure.
anyway, Kaiser, would you be with someone who doesn't have the same beliefs as you, personal beliefs?
Um, I don't know. I guess because they say, you should, right? So I guess core beliefs, some fundamental beliefs, yes. But I also recognize that whoever I'm with, if I'm ever with someone, will not always believe the same things that I believe, right? So in some fundamental things, yes, I think that's important to consider. And that's why when you date people, you get to know them or whatever. Or when you're friends with people. When you're with friends, it's easier because well, I guess I don't know. I value my friendships just as much as I'll value a romantic relationship. So who I surround myself
Mhm.
by is very important. That's why I. That's why I'm very careful with my friends. Right, I'm very careful with who I surround myself by because not everybody your friend. Not everybody wants the best for you, and some people do want the best for you, right? But they're just not the best at it. And that's okay too. But when it when it comes to personal beliefs, I guess some beliefs more than others, yes, I would say yes are important. Um that's I don't know, I guess it's why like when you like are about to get married, that's why you go through counseling and stuff, because
Mhm.
like you may not have the same beliefs on finances and like how to handle things or how you like live your like day-to-day lives in your house, you know what I mean? That's why it's important to talk about every single aspect of a relationship. That's why a lot of marriages in in divorce because they
Yeah.
don't talk about that stuff. They just like, let's get married. Yay. But they didn't discuss finances. They didn't discuss how where they're gonna live. They didn't discuss, like budgetary things or if one of them wanted to have kids and the other one didn't. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I don't know. I think all that's important. For some people it is your belief system, like your religion or things like that. Some people not so much. There are people that are happy couples that are not with people that have that same belief system. But I think it's just different for every person. Um, and I think it depends on who you're with too. Like, what are you willing to compromise and stuff? I know this kind of sounds like a roundabout answer, but it's because I don't I don't I don't really know because I never really was in a relationship like that. Certain things, yes, okay. Some things not gonna fly, but other things, I guess it just depends. It depends on the person. I don't know. How would your best friends describe you?
Gotta find words we can say on air. My friends and I, the relationship I have with those closest to me, is we're very much, we pick on each other. We give each other a hard time. So she'd probably start out by saying that I'm a witch, like a with a B. Um, and then she would laugh and say that if we're talking about my best friend, she would probably describe me as someone who, or actually somebody has actually told me this once, another dear person who's close to me. They told me that I'm like a firework, in the sense that I get very excited, and although it may not turn out to be the big extravagance that I want, regardless, I put my heart and soul into it, even if it explodes. And regardless, it'll be something beautiful that I try my best in an attempt to do for other people. Um, but I also have like a really bad temper sometimes. And that when I get very emotional, I can get too invested and compromise too much. Um, and even at the destruction of myself, again, like the firework. But I also have a very gremlin-like personality to where sometimes I'm just a little mischievous and um can be a little chaotic. But
Mm.
regardless, I think they would acknowledge that I tried my best, you know. And regardless, it just be like that sometimes. Anyway, do you usually follow your head or your heart?
Do it. I don't know. Um. Um. Okay, so I guess it's a balance. Sometimes I follow my head, sometimes I follow my heart. But they ask what I usually do. For the most part of my life, because I'm a very emotional person. I'm very emotional. I feel a lot. But for the most part, I do follow my. Well, no. Sometimes it's a balance. Sometimes I follow my head, and sometimes I follow my heart. Because I'll be lying if I say I just follow my head, or I mostly follow my head, or I mostly follow my heart. There were times in extreme situations where it required me to use my heart, and I was like, "Oh no, something's happening. I have to think of all the possible situations, and I have to, come up with that, and that's using my head." And there are other times where I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna be very, very emotional, and I'm just gonna cry about this, or I'm going to be there for somebody who needs to listen. You know what I mean? So it depends. I'm a balance with the two. I feel a lot, and I guess I judge a lot. I don't know. But when I do feel, it's usually on the inside. Like I feel it very heavy, and like when I'm like sad and things like that, it doesn't usually come out. I recognize those feelings, right? But it doesn't like show on my face, if I should say that. It doesn't show on my face. That's why people find it very hard to read me. People say I'm very hard to read, not because like I don't express emotions or I hide from my emotions, but just because you don't really know what I'm feeling sometimes. I could be laughing at you, but I could be like very sad on the inside or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know
Mhm.
which one I follow the most. I'm balanced in that way, I guess. Um oh, do you prefer dating just one person and seeing where it goes, or dating multiple people until you decide with whom you're most compatible?
Um, I'd probably just prefer dating one person just because I feel like, no offense, like, I don't judge polyamory or any kind of, like, relationship that involves more than one person. However, that just is, like, a lot for me. Like, I personally just don't think I could,
Well, not
like,
necessarily polyamory, but just like trying out different people to see who works best for you. Going on, not you're not dating this, you're not in one relationship with multiple people. You're in like different relationships and like going on different dates.
uh I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I've always been just very invested in, like, my studies and in friendships, so I've never, I guess, had the experience of, like, dating around. It's usually just, like, usually I befriend someone and eventually it develops into more.
Hmm.
And I develop that closeness. Um, I don't I've never, like, tried to get into dating and as a result went around trying dates with multiple people. I've always usually just, like, if it happens, it happens, and they can be a part of my life. If it doesn't, then whoa.
See, well, I'm the same because I don't. It's not. I just don't want to go on a whole bunch of dates to figure out if somebody's compatible. And I know because you should like put yourself out there if you want to date or whatever. Sure, but I would rather just like walk into a room, right, and then like talk to somebody, and eventually we just like start dating. Because I
Yeah,
don't
like,
want
I
to.
like
I
the
don't.
idea of dates. I just
Yeah,
personally, like, I've just
I
never had that
don't.
experience.
I don't like the idea of dates. That's my problem. I don't like the idea of having to like going. Well, because I like asking people questions anyway, so I'm always gonna ask you questions about yourself. But
Mhm,
like, I don't like the idea of having to go on a dating app. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with going on a dating app and doing your thing. But I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna go on a dating app. This is Kaiser. This is my personality. This is what I like. Then I gotta go on the first date and show you, like, superficial things. You don't have to, like, because I will lay some things out for you, okay? But so you know what you're walking into. But at the same time, when you go on dates with people, well, when you meet most people, they only show you the best parts of themselves. But, like, I feel like dating is just, I don't wanna say a lot of work because I would work for my relationships, but I just don't wanna go on a date. I don't want d
you
like
don't wanna invest time and energy into something so extravagant that could just, like
and see, that's the thing, I think sometimes we put too much extravagance on it. Some people put too much extravagance and some people don't put enough. And so I don't know, I would just rather, like, I don't know, have interest in somebody, be like, "Hey, I wanna talk to you. I got a crush on you. Let's be friends, and then let's see where that goes." I don't know. I don't wanna have to go on dating apps, especially, for, no. I just don't wanna go on dating apps. I'm just gonna say people creepy. That's all I'm gonna say. From experiences that I've seen and heard about certain things, I don't wanna do that. So yeah, that that's all. I plead the fifth. How would you rank the following in importance: family, career,
Kaiser,
and
it's
love life?
your turn.
Is my turn? Oh, crap.
Like, yeah, so, how would you rank the following in importance: family, career, or
I talk
love
too
life?
much. That's my problem. I was talking too much. I thought it was my
It's
question when I started talking.
okay.
Okay. Family, career, love life. Um, well, I don't know. Family and love life are one and one because I think your family are your loves, and your love. I guess when they mean but they mean romantic, right? So I
Mhm,
guess I depend. It depends. Okay, like okay, if I'm only dating you, you know what I mean. Then of course,
mhm,
family gonna come. I don't know. See, I haven't dated. Family, and then the love life, and then the career, right? I guess. But then if you date somebody for a long time and eventually you get married, then that love life does become your family. So it's still family. So I don't know. I'm overthinking it. So I'm just gonna separate love life and family. If I'm married, right, my love life's gonna come first, right? And then the family, if I'm
mhm,
considering that separate, and then a career, because at a certain point you're gonna have to have boundaries with how much your family is involved in that, if you want them
mhm,
to be involved and stuff like that. So they can know, because you're not coming up in here and like acting a fool and saying whoever to my significant other, right? Um, and career, like really, I'm not the type of I'm the type of person who knows what I wanna do, but my goals aren't exactly career oriented. They are career oriented because I like the things I wanna do, I want them to be my career. But if I'm thinking like a job, like a 9 to 5, that's coming last. Like, it's important, but it's not as important as the emotional well-being of the people in my life, you know what I mean? You have to have a balance because it has to take a place. But you gotta understand that your career life ain't your love life, and your love life ain't your career life. So you're gonna have to have a few, 2 different settings, you know what I mean? I don't like when people be like, well, I don't know. Sometimes it's cute. Work husband, work wife. But I'm like, if you married and you talking more to your work husband and work wife than you talking to your actual husband and actual wife, then maybe you got a problem and you got some boundaries that you need to put up. But that's not my problem. Um, I was thinking, maybe should we stop at question what 50? Maybe 40,
I
50,
was about to say, I
40.
I didn't know if you wanted to go to 50 or how long you were looking to record because I don't know what you
We
got going on for the day.
we're gonna stop at question 50. Not because I have much to do today, because I set aside, but because there's a lot of questions and doing 110 questions. We ain't doing all that. But yeah. So love life, family, career. That's my answer. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what are the qualities you're looking for in someone you want to grow old with? Oh my gosh.
That's great. Um, Obviously they gotta. I almost said a bad word. People gotta be loyal. You know,
Mm.
loyalty is really big for me. They, I guess I'll describe it as like they have to have a sense of humor. Like, they can't be all serious because I'm a little goofy. I'm a little mean. They gotta be able to roll with the punches. They also gotta have like clap back. They can't just take it from me. They gotta roast me back. Because
Yeah.
there are gonna be some days where I'm like, oh, like they're gonna get up and be like, oh, I'm tired. I'm like, all right, old man, or old lady, or old person, roll Autobots roll out. Like, why are you so slow? And they'd be like, well. Like they're gonna look at me and be like, "Well, woman, you've been laying there reading dirty comics this whole time. What you talking to me about getting out of bed just now?" I'd be like, "But I was awake." Um, and I don't know. They just gotta have loyalty. They gotta have a good sense of humor. They gotta be patient because I got my crackhead hours, and I'm also sometimes a real meanie. So sometimes they just gotta be a little patient with me.
Mhm.
Um, and also just like they gotta care. I need somebody who is gonna be passionate and care because I don't want somebody who just wants to go through the motions and then get married, have kids, do all this stuff because I don't want those
Yeah.
things. I'm not looking like I mentioned before. Marriage is a construct created by the government for taxes, in my opinion. Like like me getting married versus me just ended up staying with somebody for 50 years. It's the same thing. What does it change other than what I sign on a sheet of paper and how the government taxes me at the end of every year or at the beginning of every year? You know, like what does it really do?
Depends on how you look at it, I guess. Yeah.
But it's whatever makes, at the end of the day, I guess both of us happy. I just want
Yeah.
somebody who will put up with me. That's, I guess, the
See,
overarching.
I need some. It needs to be like because people. That's why people. I say divorce because people be going on to people based on attraction. Look, I do think that if you marry somebody, you should be attracted to them. Okay, don't get it twisted.
Mhm.
But you gotta recognize that the person you marrying or whatever, the person that you marrying, you gotta think about it this way. When I'm with this person, am I gonna be willing to change their diapers when they old? Am I willing to do that? Am I willing to, when they annoy the heck out of me, still be able to just like come and just like show up? You know what I mean? Like it, because people think sexual stuff. Oh, the good sex. Oh Lord, I said the sex. The good sex and all this stuff. The good sex, this that, and the other. They look good. Oh, he fine. She beautiful. Blah 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 blah. And then you like, but I don't even like you, baby.
Yeah.
Like, cause at the end of the day, when you old, you ain't gonna be having as much sex as you used to. You ain't gonna be running around like you used to. I mean, well, I don't know. It's different for everybody, but for the most part, yo, it's gonna go
Every
down.
boob and butt sags eventually, y'all.
Yeah. So, like I said, I hopefully if I'm ever in a relationship and we married or whatever, when we get old, we don't have to change each other's diapers. We won't have that problem. But you have to think about it in that way. That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
I agree. Um. Anyway, what are you most grateful for in your life?
What I'm most grateful for in my life. Oh my gosh, I'm grateful for a lot. I'm grateful for my family, you know, my friend right here. I'm grateful I could do my podcast. I'm grateful that I wake up every morning and I have a new opportunity to just like do stuff, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for a lot. I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful for my good looks. I'm grateful I'm grateful for people. I'm grateful for the little things, you know what I mean? The fact that I don't know, walk. The fact that I still got my hair and I'm gonna have my hair for the rest of my life. The fact, that I have the choice in what I can wear today, you know what I mean? When a lot of people just don't. The fact that I have a choice on what I can eat. The fact that I have parents that, even after college, they allow us to move back in, and they're still there for us no matter what. A lot of people don't got that. Sometimes parents be in America, especially in America, they kick you out when you're 18. Some parents do that. They leave you out on your own. I'm grateful that my parents were always there, um, for me, because not a lot of people have that. And because I'm grateful for all that stuff, that's why I always like to always be like that type of hand for other people too, because not everybody got that. And I like when people show up for other people, so I'm grateful for all that. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you, Sabrina. I think I said that already. But
Yes.
yes, it's good. Yeah. Okay. Um, if you could change anything about your past, what would it be? Or
Oh
would you change
gosh.
anything about your past? That's also a question.
There's always stuff that we want to change, but
Hmm.
like trust me, there's plenty I wish I could change. But I think that part of this question too, like acknowledging things I want to change, I would just also like to acknowledge that like I say I would change them, but I don't know that I would actually change. Just
Hmm.
because I would not be who I am today if I did not make the
Yeah.
choices that I have made in the past. Um, but if I were to make some changes, I feel like there are certain points in my life where I felt like I was silent about things that have always bothered me, and I just took it because I was like, okay, I just need to survive. I just need to make it past this point. Like if I can endure, then it'll be so much better afterwards. But I feel like there's come a point where I've overly endured that I just like I look back and I regret it. Like I regret not having the courage to stand up to certain people in my life sooner, and that it things would have come out differently, especially like during like college. Like there are times where I just like, obviously I'm just trying to get my degree, I'm just trying to get out. Like, you're going through all these motions, like trying to study, keep up with so much in life. You're becoming an adult. I was working so much, I was studying so much. Like it felt like there was like never true reprieve. Like there was always something. And I wish there was just a point where I had the courage to like stand up to certain people and say something instead of letting those people continuing what they did and doing to other people what they did to me.
Hmm.
Like whether it was people who were quote unquote friends, talking about certain people, and like eventually, like I had stayed silent for so long that when I finally did say something, it was like this whole like event of like them. It was almost like it was like this whole drama, and I was like, I don't need this drama. I'm not making it a drama, but they just like wanted to make it this whole show where I said this, they said that. It's like this whole villain arc of me going
Hmm.
against them, betraying them. And like just for me to watch like a year or so later them do like the same things to other people, and like I just was like in shock. Like, like you look back and you're like, man, I was that person. Like it's
Hmm.
crazy. And I like I'm very fortunate that as someone who was used to enduring, like I handled it way better and recovered from it way better, but other people didn't. And I
Hmm.
regret not standing up sooner to like that person, or like, to such and such who may not have treated me the best, or to at work being willing to say no instead of being taken advantage of. Like I wish the change I would make is that I wish I would have stood up sooner, I guess, as always.
Yeah.
But again, I would not be who I am today if I had not made those choices to just get through and power through, make it where I am. But it probably would
Hmm.
have saved me a lot less burnout and like and
Yeah.
nights of exhaustion and
Hmm.
questioning myself. But like I said, I am who I am because of those choices. So I
Yeah.
can't necessarily be mad about it. Anyway, what do you think you will be 10 years from now? Oh, where do you think you'll be 10 years from now? Dyslexia.
A model. I don't know. I don't know. I already
Repeating your
said
5-year
my
plan.
dream. Huh? What you say?
Um, I said it's a repeat of your 5-year plan, but
Yeah,
10 years.
just like but 10 years is the same thing, just more of that,
Established model, high
established
functioning podcast with
that
full
function.
staff and
Mhm.
studio.
Right. Will podcasts still be around 10 years from now? I don't know. Probably because 'cause they've been around since, what, 2006, something like that. Been around for a long time. But so I guess, yeah. Yeah, that's where I see myself 10 years from now. Maybe with a person I don't if you're cute enough, maybe. I don't know. But, see, I talk about changing people's
You
diapers
say
from
that,
a
Kaiser.
that's true.
Kaiser, you talk all this smack about, not finding love, but when you do, I'm gonna rag on you every little
Mhm.
comment, every little clip you
Like I
said about.
said Like I said, they better chase after me because I like you gotta be because I'm not saying because I have high standards. That's all. My standards are high because you don't just have to be a good looking person, okay? But you got to be somebody of integrity, okay? You got to be somebody who loves, and you got to be somebody who's willing to do all the hard things that it takes to be in a relationship. And life is hard, okay? So I'm not gonna sit here wasting my time with somebody who um I can take time with somebody who wants to learn and do better. But I can't sit here wasting my time with somebody who just wants to stay the same. Because eventually I'm gonna change and you're gonna change. And then we're gonna have to every few years we're gonna have to learn about each other again because we're different people. And I gotta be with somebody that's gonna be willing to do that with me. That's all I gotta say about that. So yeah.
You're like, they need to come with an authentication certificate. They gotta be
Because
vetted.
you're gonna hurt people, you're gonna say some things that you shouldn't say, but it's what you do after the maybe who goes to therapy too, like, so you
I agree.
eventually you gotta come to yourself and be like, "Oh, man, that was stupid of me," you know?
Hmm. Okay. So, who was your favorite cartoon character when you were a kid?
Ooh, I had a lot of favorite cartoon characters. Okay, so, like, Don from Pokemon, I loved Don. Spike
Hmm.
from X-Men Evolution. Um, s well, I wanna keep it exclusively to cartoon characters, because then I'd be like Storm and blah, 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 comic book character, that she's my favorite. Wonder Woman, obviously. It's a lot of women. I don't know. Dawn and Spike, I think, were my favorite cartoon characters. Cartoon characters when I was little.
Hmm.
Um, I liked them both. Spike was just like this black kid that looked he was a black kid. He was black. You never I mean, you saw him, but not often. So it was cool to see a black guy on TV. I wasn't into skateboarding or anything like that. But I liked Spike because he was black. And Dawn because I just loved Dawn. I told you she was my girlfriend. So it is yeah. Spike and Dawn, they both have something in common with me. Let's see. Or common with each other. Um Did we ask this? What is your greatest fear? I feel like we touched on that. Yeah. Okay.
Or yeah.
Do you think confessions make a relationship stronger?
So like, that's hard because I think communication makes a relationship stronger. Like
Mm,
constantly like communicating if there are issues, or like if you feel a certain way, or like if you feel like, say, like you guys necessarily agree on something, like, but you
mm,
didn't say anything initially. If you later it was like if you were later like, hey, so like I want to talk to you about something, and you're like, I would like to discuss this that happened earlier, and this, that, and the other. I don't know if we necessarily see the same eye to eye on this matter. Like, could we talk about it? Um, but like a confession that like entails, I don't know what kind of connotation that is kind of giving. It's like a
Yeah.
confession is like you did something wrong and
I've
you
been
were like,
cheating on
oh
you
well,
for
I
the
have
past
some,
5 years.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
been
I don't
lying.
know if that makes, because I guess to a certain extent, if you can overcome whatever that difficulty was, well, depending on I guess the severity of what you feel like your transgression was, um,
Mhm,
then yeah, maybe it can make your relationship stronger.
mhm,
However, I feel like saying that every single confession, being like, "Hey, yeah, so I slept with my coworker," and like there's like no remorse about the situation. You're just stating like,
mhm.
"Oh, this is a fact. I did it." I don't feel like that's gonna make your relationship stronger. I feel
No.
like, and like obviously, if you do something on accident, it's like, um, let's think of something I guess like less severe. Like, say your partner let you borrow their car, and you went on a drive, and you parked it somewhere, and then you come back, and somebody had dinged your car. Like, you got a little scratch on it, and going
Yeah,
up to them and be like, "Look, I took the car, and I got a confession. Like, somebody hit the car."
yeah.
Like, that yeah, that's like obviously it's like it wasn't like you were like, "Oh yeah, hit my car." Like you weren't like trying to make the situation happen. It like that's fine. Like communicating those errors and like showing a level of like regret and like being open and like in your relationship, that is healthy. I think that can make your relationship stronger. But you constantly confessing that you cheated with ex coworker from the office every other month to your partner, that ain't gonna make no relationship stronger. It just means you got a
No, it's not.
problem.
Yeah, you still gotta say it, but, like, you shouldn't have done
Yeah,
it, right?
it's
So,
not gonna make
like
your relationship stronger.
yeah, so, I mean, I'm an example of just, like, just confessing. Confessing stuff
Yeah,
not gonna make things better. It's funny because,
yeah.
because you think sometimes you might think but I think a lot of times when you confess, you try to get guilt off of yourself instead of, like, thinking about the other person sometimes when you feel guilt, it makes it more about you than it does make the other person, and confessing I've done it, and it's not always the best thing to do. Sometimes it makes things worse. Not that you shouldn't tell the truth, but, like, I don't know, I don't wanna I don't, and I can't say some things are better left unsaid because, like, cheating on somebody, you gotta tell them you cheated on them, right? You know what I mean? You can't hide that because it's gonna come out eventually anyway, right? Um, just I guess have tact. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Be honest, I think is the
be
biggest thing.
honest the entire
Like
time.
and we use cheating as an example, but like if
That's
like
extreme.
even even yeah, that's extreme. And also like there are I guess some cases of like cheating where it's like you're intoxicated and something happens on accident. You still cheated.
Hmm.
One, that's still wrong. But
Hmm.
like going to your person right after it happened and being like, "Look, I'm really sorry. Like we need to sit down and talk. I was intoxicated at this party and this happened. And I understand if we can no longer remain a couple, but I want you to know that this happened and I still really love you. It was an accident. Like if we need a break, I understand. And if we need to go to therapy, I 100% like let's go to therapy and talk about it. Um but like there's always like it's all circumstantial. I
Yeah.
think you can't just be like, "Oh, does confessing make a relationship stronger?" That's not how that
No,
works.
it's not how it works.
Exactly.
Yeah. Been there, done
Exactly.
that. Just tell the truth all the
uh,
time. To be honest,
yeah.
I'm just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you ever judged someone for the dark secret they told you?
Honestly, no. I want to be like, yeah, but no. Like, I look at people like I haven't. I've had people tell me dark secrets, but like, I can't really judge you. I don't know. Some people do worse things than other people, but I mean, I
I
can
was gonna
judge you.
say,
Is What do you mean by judge? Is the question. Like, am I judging you and be
well,
like, you are a piece of crap, you nasty little, you know what I mean? Or am I like,
I think that's
yeah,
what they mean. But like
yeah.
so maybe it's the people I keep in my life, but I feel like the
Mhm,
dark secrets I've heard, there's never been one that I've been like, "Oh man, dude, that's rough."
mhm,
That's like crossing like, yeah, it's messed up what they did, but I've
mhm.
never like there's never been one that hit like a hard boundary, I guess, in my opinion.
Right.
Because there are some really messed up things people could do in the world,
Yeah.
like prime
Me
example, like assault or this,
mhm.
that, and the other. And no offense, if somebody were to confide in me that they assaulted somebody, I would be like, "Give me 1 minute."
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, give me 1
Yeah.
minute." Like,
Uh-huh.
say that again, like, closer to the mic, like, "What?
Wait, did
911?
they already go to
No,
jail though? You gotta ask them, did they go to jail already or something? Because if you while you
they don't
recording, could
matter
you
if they went to jail, they're going back again."
but they can't. That's the point.
Well, if it's a dark secret and they never told anybody, obviously they didn't
Yeah.
go to jail.
I guess true, but, like, maybe they didn't tell somebody after the fact, you know?
Or,
Like, after
like
'cause they trying to
like,
run away from their past.
they touched an animal, did something bad to a poor
Girl,
little innocent
too much
creature,
too
going
much
to
too
jail.
much. No,
Going
no,
to
no, no, no,
jail.
no, no,
I will
let's not
rat.
even go let's not even discuss. No. Let's
But my point is,
no.
I've never heard, like, in a sense, any secret anyone's ever invested in me like that. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
something that's like, "Oh, man, that's kinda mean, that's kinda messed up." But it's
Mhm.
never been like, "Oh my gosh, somebody called the police,
Yeah.
the FBI, the CIA, like, my
Yeah.
mom, like, somebody call, like somebody important, we gotta get this person out of here."
Mhm.
But I guess I'm just fortunate that I don't got those kinds of people in my
Me
life.
too. Yeah. I don't know, I never had somebody reveal a dark secret to me, and I looked at them differently in a way that just that changed turned my whole world around. I'm like, "You did what? You killed your entire family? What? No!"
Yeah,
Like, never happened, thank God. Um,
yeah,
okay, let's just do, 4 more questions, just 4,
mhm,
'cause we 2 hours in, y'all. We 2 hours in. This turned into one of some old, when this was I'm a fan of, and that's all I'm a fan of. Okay. What do you do when you're angry?
It depends on, like, the situation. Like, so my stepmom's always told me that when she can tell when I'm mad because, my eyebrows raise, like, normally, like, my face is set, but when I'm angry, like, she's like, my eyebrows are, like, stuck up and, like, I got this look on my face that's just like, she said she could just tell, like, but my emotions read on my face. And for, like, the most part, if I'm angry and, like, I'm in a situation where obviously, like, I have to, like, hold in my frustration, I obviously will just be very, like, straight to the point. I'll be very, like, direct. And obviously my eyebrows will be, like, posted up my forehead. Like I cannot, like, help but, like, my eyes just are like, um, but, if I like it is, like, a situation where I'm, like, in an argument with somebody and they're picking a fight, like, my instinct isn't to be like, "Oh, let me say the meanest thing I can say," and, like, have this whole big
Yeah.
scene. Like, relatively calmer, but if somebody do be yelling at me, picking a fight, like, say, like, yelling at somebody else who I'm close to and it's, like, unjust, if you will, like, if it's a mutual argument, like, that ain't my place, that ain't my business, I'm walking away. But, like, if it's like an innocent like wait staff worker and this person's throwing a whole like scene, I'll be like, "Hey, yo, you need to calm down, buddy, cause
Mhm.
you ain't gonna be talking to no waitress like that who's just bringing you your food and you're mad because you ordered the wrong thing off the damn menu. Like, you need to like I'll be willing to say something." The only time I think I've ever, like, been like, there have been, like, rare occasions I can maybe count on one hand in my entire life where I've been so upset that, like, I've yelled or something's
Yeah.
happened, but in those situations, it's obviously been a little, extreme, and so,
Yeah.
obviously, it's, like, so angry, tears running down my face, like, when I get real angry, 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 like, I get, like, the hot boiling tears of, like, frustration, like, all my emotions just bubble to the surface, and I'm like, "Ah!" Like,
That's
dramatic, but
interesting.
usually that's alone. Usually
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's maybe happened once or twice where I've been that upset where I'm, like, alone, and I'm, like, so frustrated with myself, and I'm like, "I can't do this anymore." Ah.
Yeah. Me, when I'm angry, okay, it depends. Okay, so I you can get me to a point where I start yelling at you. It's funny because if I start yelling at you, My voice just sounds so sweet. I don't understand why I sound like some child that's like screaming at somebody. I sound like a child if I'm like yelling at you. But for the most part, when you make me angry, I do not. I become very calm, and when I'm becoming very calm, and you're trying to insult me or something like that, that's when you should be worried. You should be very worried by that time because I'm calm, and so I pay attention and I analyze people, and I don't do it on purpose, but I notice things about people. And because I notice things about people, it stores in my brain like way far back, even when I don't think about it. So I'll become like very cold for a second and I will read you for filth. Not even because I'm trying to say something mean, but I'm like, you need to get your act together and you need to get it together right now. Very, very calm. And I say it very calmly, and then I'll ruin your entire life and you have to go to therapy. You really have to go to therapy after that. So like but that's been very extreme cases. This only happened like once or twice where I've become so angry to where I'm calm when I'm angry, but where I've become so like to where you probably better watch out. It doesn't happen often at all because I make sure it doesn't happen. That's why I'm always direct and stuff because I
Mhm.
don't want to do that again.
Um.
I'll
So
destroy your
anyway,
life. I
would
don't
you
want to
ever
do that.
take back someone who cheated?
I don't know. Like I don't know. Like what's the
There's
circumstances
only
of why
one
you
right answer. No.
girl, but look, I get it. There is one
No.
right answer. No, but at the same time, I don't know. Are you really feeling like will you do it again? Are you really gonna do the work that it takes? Because if you did it and you tell me, I want to be like, okay, no, leave me alone. Don't talk to me. But if you actually do the work, like actually put in the work and you don't do it again, I might consider it. I might consider it. I might consider it. But don't do it. You don't want to see me when I'm hurt. Well, I mean, if you're in a relationship, you'll know what it's like when I'm hurt. But don't do that because you will get kicked out. I will tell you what you like. You already know what you did wrong, but I will tell you what you did wrong, and then I will be like, don't talk to me. But also, like, I do like to give second chances, but it's gonna have to be a while, and you're gonna have put in the work. That's all I gotta say. You have to put in the work, and I
Mm,
might consider it. I know most people not
mm.
gonna agree, but that's just me, and that's okay.
No, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And it definitely
Yeah,
ain't gonna
but
be on
see,
me.
that's the thing. That's the thing. You're not gonna fool me twice. That's the thing. So if I take you back, I'm gonna have to really have to believe that you actually. I'm a very good judge of character. I'm a very good judge of when somebody, doing that. And I'm not saying that it's never say never. Never say never. That's why. That's my answer. Never say never. Because if you say never, then it will happen to you. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's my answer. So we only have two more questions.
Mhm.
Okay. Um. Um. Okay, I'm scrolling because I want to find something.
I know. I did the same thing. I started just swiping through
Mm.
them.
What are you most thankful for? Let's go light because I was about to pick a deep, deep, deep dark when I said this enough. Let's end it on lightness.
Um, you said, what am I thankful for?
What are you most thankful for?
Uh, I think I'm most thankful for the people in my life who care about me. You know, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my friends, best friends. I'm thankful for my mentors, the people who have invested time and energy into me as a person. Um, yeah, I'm really thankful for the people in my life. And I'm also just like, I guess, thankful for my circumstance. I'm in a very fortunate circumstance in life, although obviously mentally I'm a nut. But you know, I'm very grateful that I can collect little gotcha figurines, that I can play Genshin Impact, that I can draw, that I can be on this podcast with you and have fun and joke and sometimes get serious.
Mhm.
And you know
Serious. Let's
that
get serious.
I know, so serious. um, and just live my life. Um, you know? And I can only hope that it continues that way, because if not, the world is not ready for my villain arc. That's all I can say. I'm telling you. That's the reason why I was given the mental health issues, dog, because if I didn't have them, the world is done. I'd be so good. I'd be confident. I'd be ambitious. I'd be out there. I'd be slaying. The world is not prepared. Anyway, let's find something fun and lighthearted for your final question.
I guess you can go deep if you want.
What is on your bucket list for this year?
For this year, let me think. For this year, to make money.
Make that shmoney, get that bag,
give me my money.
Make that bread.
I don't know. Also to meet my people. I want to meet my people this year.
Meet your people?
Meet my people, as in my found family, friends and stuff. Meet my people, my Sex and the City type of people. My Charlotte, my Samantha, my Miranda. Carrie, you can stay over there. But I love you, Carrie. But yeah, my people, like my besties, the people that stay in my life. And I mean, I don't know, if you want to ask me out, go ahead. If I say yes or no, that's up to you. Yeah, that's on my bucket list. And I feel like I want to say something else, because I have a lot of goals and stuff. I just want to create. I want to make money creating, really, honestly, and inspire people and get this podcast out to as many people as I can. Oh, my voice. I'm always working on my voice to get stronger. I be joking when I be singing, but I don't really know what my real voice sounds like. So yeah.
One day we'll get that single released.
I practice singing every single day. Like I love to sing. That's my favorite thing to do. I never get tired of singing. So yeah. So yeah, that's my bucket list. And yeah, like I said, my people. If you want to be friends with me, send me a message. So thank you everybody for listening to the So I'm a Fan of podcast.
Yes, thank you guys.
This was a deep, obviously deep episode. So if you have anything to say, I don't know what you want to say, put it in the comments on Spotify Q&A. I'm gonna think of a question to ask, like what's your biggest fear or something. And then yeah, thank you for joining us. We're excited for the next episode, because that's when the real fun starts. See you then. Promise not too many more deep episodes.
Yeah, a little more. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the newest episode of the So I'm a Fan of podcast.
Don't forget to support us by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, so that we can reach out to as many people as we can.
And you can view our socials at IAFO Fan on X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Reddit.
And our merch at iafofans.com. We have lots of exciting things in store for you, so come and listen to us next time. See you, fellow fanatics.
Peace.